Good morning. Hey, real quick too. Does the microphone sound a bit better? I put some of the filters back on. I think this is going to sound a lot better. I feel like I had a naked mic for the past couple of weeks. Oh my God. We had a naked mic. Yeah. What up? What up? What up? How's the Friday treating you guys so far, man? What's going on out there? What up? What up? It's a little quieter for me. Yeah, it's just gonna be better, man. It's compressed, all this other stuff. Yeah. I can't believe I screwed that up for the past 2 weeks. But to be fair, I had a lot of other tech issues going on. The mic was kind of lower on the totem pole. But hey, we got it figured out, man. You know, geez, what a life, what a world. Content creation, man. Crazy. Jon Snow, thank you for the gifted membership. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Oh shit, David Sanders got nice. That's awesome, man. Just sat down to play some Warhammer Shop Simulator. I don't know what that means. Is that like you go into the shop and you buy Warhammer, but you can't actually buy Warhammer? Do people do that? All right, you know, hey, whatever, you know, different strokes, different folks. That's cool. I'm not necessarily against it, dude. Ye old Ark Raiders, though. Whoo, boy, oh boy, man. Ark Raiders, yo. So if you didn't know, guys, Ark Raiders had an update yesterday, and a lot of us were excited about it. I got in there, played a ton last night. I'm actually looking forward to getting out of here today and playing some this afternoon. We have plenty to talk about. I figured, hell yeah, we would close the week out strong with a stream because there's at least 3 big topics and some other stuff that we can get into. By the way, I did go to the P.O. box, and I appreciate all the stuff you guys sent me. I'll show off some of that stuff a little bit later on in the stream. Really cool stuff. And we also have to plug Daniel's hot sauce because Daniel got me like a really nice gift, but he said like, hey, can you plug my hot sauce? And because it was such a nice gift, I will certainly plug that hot sauce. So that's cool. We'll talk about that later. Steve McT, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, baby. You are a Nerd Venger now. So appreciate you. Yeah, should be a good day today, man. I'm feeling good, but I really want to get into Ark Raiders. Speaking of that, just a quick TLDR before we get into some of this stuff, man. I unlocked an epic key. An epic key for the zone that's not even fully unlocked yet. So, well, actually, it's unlocked now. I can't believe the Ark Raiders unlocked it in a single day. But so basically, they had this thing where there was a coming zone, and you could like donate some of your stuff to it to try to get the zone unlocked. So I was just going around last night looting, man, and like totally randomly out of nowhere found an epic key. Purple, baby, we got a purple. An epic key for that zone. So my buddies and I are all really looking forward to trying to go figure out the loot for that later. So the way it works is like we'll have to go in armed to the teeth, right? You can't take any chances. So we'll go in armed to the teeth, and we'll go on a night raid. And we're gonna find this location, and then you use the key and you unlock it. And there should be like crazy loot in this thing. Like I would imagine the new weapons in there, maybe even like a higher variant of it, right? The electricity battle rifle, John, or whatever that thing's called, dude. I told everybody, I was like, dude, I got dibs on that. If there's gold leggies, you know, I got dibs on that. But otherwise, we'll split it up even, me and the boys. So, dude, it's gonna be really cool. So I'm looking forward to doing that later today. I'm gonna go in there. And by the way, if one of you fucks this up for me, if one of you gets on there and finds me and prevents me from getting my loot out, oh man, so y'all just stay off Ark Raiders, stay out of the zone, and stay out of my face. Anyway, Young Ghost says, yes sir, they have tabletop game shop simulator on Steam. What? That's kind of awesome, man. That's kind of awesome. I mean, spoiler alert, one of the things that was in the P.O. box was some Warhammer stuff, so I'll show you. That's pretty cool. Joey Ebb says, took the day off work, headed out for the day with the family for some shopping. 65 and sunny here in Chicago. Great to be a nerd. A great day to be a nerd venture. Have a great day, everyone. Most of all, you, PJ. Yo, appreciate the love, of course. I shouldn't tell on my buddy like this, but dude, one of my buddies called off work today to play Ark Raiders, and I'm like I wanna play really, really bad, but obviously, like, gotta make the donuts over here. You know what I mean? Gotta make some donuts. So good for you, though. You're not playing Ark Raiders, though. You're enjoying 65 and sunny. It's a little bit warmer today, but it is certainly getting cold up here. It's that time of year. But this is my season, man. I love the winter, man. I'm from the north. Joey Ebb says, oh, wait, we already got that. Josh equal professional gamer. Yeah, not exactly. Just H says 2 years. I just got lucky on that one. 2 years of Nerd Vengeance for many more to come. Shin Vengers for life. Much love. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very, very much. What's your tag? I'm not telling y'all anything. But just know, if I hear some stuff on the and I hear something on the mic and it sounds like a Nerd Venture or something like that, like, just know. Coming. I'm a winter guy as well, but I'm in South Carolina, so it's a small window. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've lived in mostly cold places my whole life. Yeah, I mean, I bounced around, but always tend to arrive at a cold place. When I lived in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, bro, that Canadian air would just whoosh, come down, and like, I remember we'd get it would be like -18 with wind chill, like worse, to the point where like you'd spit, and if some of it got caught on you, it would be frozen. You'd go to wipe it off and it'd be frozen on you. In Minneapolis, during the wintertime, the lakes freeze to such a degree that people drive on them. I remember first time I did it, freaked me out. We went onto a lake and we're driving around a lake, and it's not just you. It's like everybody in the neighborhood goes out and drives on lakes. It was a wild experience over there for sure. I heard that everyone in Erie gets around with snowmobiles in the wintertime. You do that? So I've never actually been a big fan of the snowmobiles and the sleds, but that is actually true. So a lot of, especially out in the county. So I live in the city now, right? But out in the county, absolutely. A lot of my friends would literally ditch their vehicles and just drive their sleds for a large portion of the wintertime. And then there's like incredible tracks here for riding. So yeah, that's a big part of the culture here for sure. It randomly snowed earlier this week. It did. It was kind of light, but yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing, man. It's kind of a fun vibe, and you'll see a lot of people on their sleds all around, you know? I heard everyone gets around on Range Rovers. I don't know if Range Rovers are even good in the snow. You would think they are, but I don't know. Yeah. Grew up in LA in the Bay, and we don't do winter. Yeah, some of y'all have never really experienced the winter, you know? I love this area. I think a lot of people, when you're a kid or whatever, I guess I just know what it was like for me. There's sort of a feeling of, oh, I want to get out, or, I want to go to the big city or whatever. But for me, especially, man, like so I've got some friends that like live in New York City that are from my hometown. And whenever I'm in New York, I'll like visit them or whatever. And they always get a kick out of it. They're like, so you're just still like loving Erie, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, man, like there's a lot of stuff that's appealing about it for me. That small town kind of a vibe, a little bit more of your freedom. Yeah. But no, it's different strokes, different folks, man, but I like this area a lot, and I've come to appreciate it more and more as I get older. There's just like not a lot of like forest here or like this at other places. So if you're an outdoorsman, which I know sounds ironic because you guys think I just sit on the computer, and maybe I do, you know what I mean, for a large portion of my life, but I was raised, my father's like a very wild boy, and we were out in the national game lands a lot. So I know this area, and I know the game lands kind of in a way that's like unique. You know, you wouldn't know that if you were an outsider, if you came here. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a cool vibe. I like it here. 31 months, happy to be here. Really excited for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Definitely have been enjoying the Disney Plus break. Don't get a Range Rover. Oh geez. Yeah, people are still divided on the range, huh? Yeah, I personally, for me, the Disney Plus break has been great. And honestly, when I went back and watched Zombies, right, when I sort of was like, oh, maybe the break's over, like that Marvel Zombies trailer was pretty lit, I regretted it. You know, I really regretted it. And I probably won't watch Wonder Man, you know what I mean, to be honest with you guys. And I know some people will be a little upset about that, but that's just, it's not for me, and I'm enjoying my time away. And everything that's coming is so exciting. I mean, we talked a lot about it yesterday. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to be talking about it, y'all. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll be damned if I went through years. Here's the other. I'm starting to get pissed. Okay? Because, like, I'll be damned if I went through all these years of Marvel when it was like phase 4 and 5 and shit was like not great. And then I'm not supposed to get excited and hyped about like, oh shit, it's finally going to turn around and we're actually going to have good shit. Like, no, the opposite is true. I'm going to have so much fun after so much time of like covering stuff that I'm not really into, or like just kind of watching Star Wars and Marvel fall off. I feel really liberated and happy about what's happening. The ability to get excited about this thing that I'm pretty fucking sure is going to be not just good, but like incredible. Marvel fans, real talk, bro. We are owed this. It's not even a like we deserve it. I feel like we are owed this. So let's sit back and enjoy this shit. Next couple of years are for us. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. The next couple of years are for us. And we'll obviously watch how other IPs and franchises are going. Maybe Star Wars can kind of turn it around. DC kind of has some interesting stuff going on. We're going to talk about Brainiac in a minute here. So maybe we get some juicy DC stuff. And then, of course, Warhammer is going to come in and take over everything. It's going to be the next big thing. So we're all excited about that. But yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I am owed Warhammer. I feel you on that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel you on that. And I am obviously very excited about Warhammer and the prospect of it taking over, but it has also caused somewhat of a divide within the community. You know what I mean? So I try to tease a little bit. I try to like force it on people, obviously, but I also don't want to actually become like I'm droning on about it. You know what I mean? No one feels you on that. No, a lot of people do, Justin. A lot of people do. Hey, Justin, a lot of people do, baby. A lot of people do. And some Marlboro Reds. Bold for you to believe Marvel will turn it around after the BS writing they've dropped. Yeah, I guess that's true. All I want is Brainiac, who isn't goofy. Yeah. You made a Warhammer believer out of me. Let's go, Bubba Fett. Let's go. Let's get some W's in chat for Bubba Fett on his journey. What's your army, brother? What did you or have you? Are you still deciding? Brainiac is going to be amazing. Yeah. Justin was asking about his army yesterday. Ooh. Yeah. You still on that Eldar? Or are you joining the Tau side of things? What are you thinking? I always say that I'm going to skip the next Disney Plus, John, but I end up watching it like a dumbass every time. Yeah, I was there for a long time, man. I don't know that I was a dumbass. I mean, I am a dumbass, but I don't know that made me a dumbass. It's just a tough one, brother. Like, we're like the last ones watching that shit, to be real. Like, when you look at the numbers for Daredevil Born Again, I mean, there's like the only way that you can really make sense of that is like, dude, everybody was just over it. You know what I mean? And that is tough. But believe it or not, I think that second season will do well. Like, I mean, I'm going to just say it. I think season 2 of Daredevil does better than Peacemaker, right? And Peacemaker got to the charts. You know what I mean? It got to the charts on its finale, right? Which was not well received. So maybe they didn't even want to chart with that. But yeah. For someone who doesn't like horror, it's wild how hard you're hyping the grimdark Lovecraftian mess. What? First of all, it's not a mess. So I've explained this before. I get it, man. I get like, I don't know. Maybe I just have some opinions that seem kind of wild, right? But I don't like horror in the sense that, like, I don't want to go to a movie that is designed to keep me in a state of fear and tension for hours. I like when horror is used as an element in other genres. So, like, when I go to Warhammer, it's like, I'm not signing up to, like, literally be afraid. I'm signing up to feel like a fucking dragon. I'm signing up to want to fucking conquer the stars in the name of the God Emperor. I'm signing up to feel awesome. And yet there's horror elements within Warhammer that I think are like really well used to create tension, to create this enemy, to create this thing that you have to overcome. You know what I mean? And also I think one of the best things about the horror in Warhammer is it's so tough to deal with. It's so destructive that even the heroes, if they see another hero or a good guy, which there's really no good guys in Warhammer, but like if you're an Imperial person, you see somebody else messing with the warp, your natural inclination is that they're a heretic and that they should be destroyed. You know what I mean? Some people really, really strongly believe that, and some people just kind of believe it. But yeah, that's kind of my explanation for it. I hope that makes sense. Deborah and Wool started a D&D campaign with Dungeons and Dragons dudes on YouTube. It's like D&D on steroids. Pretty dope. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. I like Deborah a lot, man. You know, she's been in the nerdy space for a long, long time. If you were in the nerdy space like 10 years ago, you know, you'd probably know her from some of the stuff she was doing around then. I don't really get horror vibes from it. Yeah, I mean, it's so vast that there's parts of it that are not really touched by that as much, but then there are parts of it that are absolutely just drenched with that horror. The warp, and like I was explaining this yesterday, I don't think you have Warhammer without the grimdark, without the warp, without the arch enemy and chaos and shit like that, right? But it is also fair to say that there's like parts of the lore that you don't really feel the demonic shit. You don't really feel the horror stuff, right? It's either like, you know, just sci-fi battle, or you're fighting against these aliens, you know, all that kind of stuff. Josh, can you react to the Super Mario Galaxy trailer? It has the Prowler theme. I cannot because Nintendo will strike me down if I do, but it looks good. I'm excited for that movie. I think Nintendo is hitting all of their marks. I think Nintendo's doing really well, and I'm excited to see the film and also to see how they grow that shared universe, because this is supposed to be some kind of a multiverse thing, right? Yeah. All right, that's enough yapping for the intro. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let's get into these stories. Then we'll look at the P.O. Box stuff, and then we'll get on out of here because your boy needs to go play some Ark Raiders. I don't know if y'all heard of Ark Raiders, but it's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so how many of you saw this yesterday? Man of Tomorrow, some of the actors being added to play DCU's Brainiac have been revealed. This is on the heels of it being confirmed by the trades that Brainiac is the big bad of Man of Tomorrow. Now, we've actually already talked about this. I forget the exact context before, but it was something that was out there. There was leaked concept art. You know, Gunn was sort of teasing some stuff. Man of Tomorrow itself kind of hints at the idea of those two teaming up and going up against Brainiac. Okay, so basically it gets confirmed. Let's get into this article here, because beyond confirming it, they discuss what insiders are saying about the potential actor that will play Brainiac. Kind of interesting. Yesterday evening, the trades confirmed what we'd long suspected by revealing that Brainiac will be the main villain in DC Studios' Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. Filmmaker James Gunn already teased the iconic villain's debut when he shared a first look at the movie's script, and at this point, anyone else would have been disappointed fans. Sure, yeah, that's fair. Now, though we don't have word on who Gunn is meeting with to put. Oh, now though we do have word on who is meeting with Gunn to potentially play Brainiac. Grace Randolph was the first to share the news that David Hyde Pierce from Frasier, Wallace Shawn from Young Sheldon, and Claes Bang, Dracula, were all possibly in the mix. Since then, Nexus Point News, Apocalypse Horseman has revealed, I can confirm I heard Klaus Bang too, but there's a handful of others who are going to be tested, so it's undecided. Bang is a talented actor who has played some despicable characters throughout his career. Look no further than Apple TV's Bad Sisters. However, this continues an interesting trend in the DCU of Gunn looking at actors to play these heroes and villains who aren't on the A-list. Yes, that's fair. Is it a cost-cutting measure, or is the DC Studios co-CEO simply seeking the right people for the job, relying on the characters themselves to help sell tickets? Both could potentially be true. We'll see what happens, but Gunn testing actors is likely how the Wrap managed to confirm that Brainiac is the big bad of Man of Tomorrow. Hopefully this means we can expect official casting news before the end of the year. Yeah, so that's a kind of another thing. This is also like a little side story to almost all the stories we've been talking about lately, guys. A lot of people just kind of like putting it out there, explaining like what's going on. And yeah, this is coming from a casting grid, you know. This is documentation that goes out to agents, managers, and all kinds of people in Hollywood, because that's how you would get access to the potential actors that would be your character. Now, the Scoopers have had access to casting grids for a long, long time, because they're like public info. You know what I mean? Like it gets passed around and all of that. So Apocalypse Horseman, Grace Randolph, all of these different people, you know, they're likely correct in assuming that casting is kicking off. That's how the Wrap was able to actually confirm that it's Brainiac. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. Now let's look at the tweets from Grace and the others here. So Brainiac, Frasier, Frasier. Which one's this guy? And then this guy. Okay. What's this guy's name? Is this the Klaus guy? Is this the guy that Nexus Point said it probably was? Chat, what is happening? Chat. Is this the guy? Is this the guy, dude? Okay, so apparently this guy's the GOAT. You guys like this? This guy's a very distinct voice, does he not? And doesn't it kind of sound like, I can't imagine his voice as Brainiac. Wouldn't you have to modulate that? He's iconic, goated casting. Wow, you guys are really high on this pick. I don't like this. Wait a minute. So why do y'all like this pick? Maybe I'm getting this wrong. You know what I mean? Mark Strong would be excellent. This guy had been around for eons. Brainiac, yeah. He played Niles, not Frasier. Oh, okay, sure. That's the voice of Stewie's brother from Family Guy. Inconceivable. Yeah, doesn't he have a silly voice? I'm pretty sure he has a silly voice, dude. What is happening here? What is going on? Okay, so if we look at all these picks, because, like, remember, it's fun to look at what's the pattern here. This guy, I don't know this guy at all, okay? What's the deal with this guy? Now, look, I'll play fair. I'll play nice. It is possible that what Gunn is looking for is distinguished, old, wise man. Like, Brainiac is potentially billions, maybe trillions of years old. He has the intellect and wisdom of thousands, if not millions, of species and planets. He is brilliant. Yeah, so it seems as though they are going for old, distinct man, so to speak, right? Yeah, and that seems to be kind of the move here, which I can get behind, I suppose. But let me tell you this, man. There was a moment when we thought Alan Ritchson was going to be Brainiac, and I love that pick, man. Like and I suppose the rebuttal to that would be like, can that guy actually act? Like, could he actually pull that shit off, right? But like, I almost feel like you could do Brainiac without an incredible dramatic performance, because like, what do they call it? The Kulchev effect or whatever. Like, I call it the Gosling effect. If he just if Richardson just played it straight, and you let the other stuff kind of bounce off of his performance, I still think it could work. You know what I mean? And for me, the physicality of that dude against our Superman and our Lex Luthor would be awesome to me. I think that would be incredible. And that's like the direction I would like to go in. It's like that sort of, dude bro coded, like, kind of a way to do it. Basically, that feels like anime energy to me, where like the idea of a guy as big as Alan being Brainiac feels like some anime shit. And I don't think that's a diss. I don't see that as a negative. And in fact, if we're paying attention to what's happening out there, anime shit is popping off, dude. People like it when you like just go for it and go over the top, dial it up, get crazy. So in that sense, I think like Alan would be a good pick. It could be the case that they're trying to do two, and they would have like Alan as the physicality, and then maybe one of these guys for the other, like multiple actors to bring the role together. Yeah, like that could be interesting, and I would love it. The other thing too, and I say this, and I feel like we've gotten away from this a little bit, but I think it's going to come back with Doomsday, and that is that the comic book genre itself is very similar to wrestling, and I feel like the wrestling energy of like at a Comic-Con or during press having this Giga Chad, totally jacked to the gills dude sitting next to Lex Luthor and Superman, and then they ask questions and he's like, come on, these two? I think I can handle these two. You know what I mean? And shit like that. I'm reminded of during Civil War with Marvel, when they had like, the Downey and the sprinkled donut and all the Cap stuff, and they filmed a lot of stuff like that, and it was not the same kind of a vibe, but like that, I think that's a part of what makes comic book stuff so fun, is like the fans will really like root for this person or that person, and we like the idea of like a sort of ambassador for the character or the brand, almost being the person. Like I feel very similar to how I talked about if The Rock were to actually sign this massive deal and become Apocalypse. I mean, number one, the Rock is proving that he can act in like a real way, right, with the smashing machine. But also, dude, nobody cuts a better promo than Dwayne The Rock fucking Johnson, dude. Like, to this day, I don't think anybody cuts a promo like him. So the idea of him being Apocalypse and cutting fucking promos on his Instagram gives me chills. You know what I mean? So like, I want that, dude. I want that. I want that energy. I want that in like on our side. But even still, for the DC thing, that's kind of a consideration too. Like, that's something that I've been thinking about. So that, I don't know. I guess I need to know what you guys think about all those different picks there. It's interesting that Klaus is the one that Apocalypse heard as well. By the way, I've heard Apocalypse Horseman is like one of the most solid scoopers out there. Maybe even like the most solid scooper, but people just don't really know that. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's the story with the old Brainiac here. I don't think I have too much else to say about it. I guess I'll end the segment by saying this. This is a win. This is so much cooler than what they had going on in the Superman movie. And I think Gunn knows that, and I think he knows like Brainiac should be, because there were rumors Brainiac was going to be a Superman villain, and he obviously didn't go that direction. So this can absolutely work. This can cook. I hope Man of Tomorrow is a big step up from Superman, and I'm a person that loved the Superman movie. Like, I really genuinely loved that film, but I think it's a bit behind the times a little bit. Like, the people, like, again, it's that anime energy. Like, you look at what's activating audiences and stuff right now, and I think this is why Doomsday is going to work. It's like they want the biggest thing, man. Like, the Infinity Castle trilogy is a big deal because it's the last arc of the book. It's a trilogy of movies, some of the biggest, most incredible fights, incredible character moments. It's the cream of the crop. It's like the thing. It's the event. It's what you show up for. And I strongly feel that if the comic book genre is going to be able to sort of continue and thrive, I think they need to realize that. And so this is potentially a great step towards that outcome. And we'll pay attention, of course, to all the different rumors and stuff that come out. Could be great for DC. Could be great for Gunn. This could be absolutely incredible. I mean, Brainiac is badass. He's been in media before. So I think he was on that Krypton show. Might have even had some moments in Smallville, if I remember. There have been a few movies, a little bit of video game stuff, I think. But by and large has not been in media the same way that these other villains have. Brainiac's great. So Brainiac will probably be cold, chilling, ancient, perennial, like weird. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So that's the last thing I'll say on that. Guys, what do you think, man? What do you make of all that? Brainiac W, Brainiac L, James Gunn W, James Gunn L. What do you think? Bro, Rock is Apocalypse and Henry Cavill is Sinister. Sign me up for the next 15 years. That would go hard, dude. That would go pretty hard, just to be real. The Princess Bride guy feels like they were going for Patton Oswalt types. Yeah, I get that sense as well, and I'm not about that life. Like, doesn't that kind of feel like a little bit of that quirky James Gunn energy? Like, I'm telling you, like, just listen to the audience. I think the audience wants, like, Jack to the Gills Brainiac. I'm thinking it's lunchtime. Hell yeah, brother. Gunn cooked with the High Evolutionary Fair, who is very similar to Brainiac. I have faith, skeptical of some of the casting choices. Yeah, brother, it's kind of hard not to be skeptic of some of these choices, I feel, but you are correct that Gunn has done very well with villains in the past. So I loved what he did with Ronin, High Evolutionary, Ego. I don't know, maybe a swing and a miss, maybe just not for me, but yeah, he's mostly done pretty great with his villains, so hopefully he can continue that. Straddle up. The Gun jammed. Do you think the Gun jammed with these casting choices? That type is definitely not the move. What? Josh, to be fair, it won't matter whether Marvel or DC falls off. I'm still going to join the Warhammer fandom thanks to you. Okay, bud. That's a lot of caps, though, but appreciate you. Thank you. Ego was fun. Ronan was weak. I liked Ronan, man. I liked that depiction of Ronan. I liked how he was like, I don't give a damn if Thanos is the strongest being in the universe. I thought that was cool. What didn't you like about Ego? So I felt as though what he did with Ego by making him like a celestial and also by making him kind of like, I mean, he made him Peter's father and made him Kurt Russell that's like jokey. You know what I mean? So sure, maybe Ego the Living Planet was always a crazy fucking idea and maybe it was always going to be goofy when it was done. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really care for Volume 2. I think it's a little too James Gunny for me. Like the Golden Aliens, like all of it's just a little too silly. Like where's the edge, that I'm kind of looking for? And I felt that way with Ego too, like just to be, and I think this is a fair statement, making Ego the Living Planet a jokey Russell Crowe that's Peter Quill's father is so James Gunn. That is so James Gunn. So I didn't like it. Volume 2 is my favorite because of Baby Groot. I think Baby Groot did some heavy lifting for that movie for sure, man. Absolutely. It's so Disney. I mean, sure, yeah. Visually, this will look pretty and nice on screen due to all the spectacle, but once we get down to the execution, dialogue, characters, decisions, that's where things tend to fall apart for DC movies. Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, I thought Superman was really good. So I think I continue to just say that like Superman didn't perform how it should have. You know, I think there could have been things done to make it more appealing to international audiences and just more people in general. It could have been a better product, but I liked it as a film. Like as a film, I liked it, and the depiction of Superman was great. So, Kurt Russell, not Russell Crowe. Oh yeah. Sorry, that was the other guy I don't love, Taika, who took my boy and turned him into the worst version of Zeus I've ever seen in my fucking life. Although that line where he says, have a little grape, have a little wine, is kind of funny. Remember when Taika was like, I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby? Brother, why? Why did you say that? It's a cosmic start. That's where the four cosmic forces and infinity stones MCU shit pour out of me. Gotta give Gunn the credit there. It's a cosmic start. That's where the four cosmic forces, Infinity Stones, was born. I mean, give Gunn credit there. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could be really cool. I mean, Brainiac is legitimately awesome, and there's a lot of lore there. I think especially because they're going to play off of what happened with Kara. I think they're going to... So, look, a little TLDR on this, guys. There was and I could be getting this wrong. I'm actually not as hardcore as a DC fan as some others, right? But my understanding is there was a run done by Jeff Johns. That run was adapted into the animated movie, which was called Superman Unbound. Now, in Superman Unbound, they actually take the Jeff Johns story even further and have it be the case that Kara witnesses Brainiac taking Kahndaq. Or is it not Kahndaq? Maybe I'm mixing that up. Maybe I'm mixing cities up. But like, so it's assumed by many that are following this stuff that in Supergirl, we are likely to see that Kara, just like in that animated movie, witnessed Brainiac. And that's potentially why she has such PTSD, and that's why she drinks so hard. That's why she's such a mess. So all of this could be pretty lit. Like that sounds kind of awesome. You know? Mary Poppins, y'all, is one of the best lines from the whole Infinity Saga. Don't you say that to me. That's a good line, but best in the saga? I don't know about that. He might have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your dad. He gets me every time. It is fairly good, yeah. Supergirl is going to be so damn good. Worried about the box office, dude? Same. I'm in the same boat. And it's kind of a shame. I mean, you know, that first trailer is going to be a super big deal for Supergirl. Best case scenario for them is like, it feels irreverent in a way that won't trigger like anti-woke people, but not so irreverent that everybody's like, oh, Jesus, more James Gunn. I actually think the film finds itself in kind of a precarious situation. Maybe not even of its own doing, but kind of like the way things happened, you know? Yeah. So it's they have to walk a tightrope with that. And I hope they understand that. And they're smart people over there. So, you know, hopefully somebody can talk some sense into some people over there. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. Still don't understand why the limited Green Lanterns to a show. Well, I mean, we've already seen lanterns in Superman, so it's not as though they're actually fully limited to the show, but I understand what you're saying. That makes me worried about the future Sergeant Rock movies and Jimmy Olsen shows. Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, that's fair. Who cares about all that other shit? Like, the lanterns are the dopest thing. I think the lanterns are the coolest thing DC has, frankly. And I love the lanterns, always have. And, dude, I don't think I can handle another botching of the lanterns. You know, that Reynolds stuff was rough. Dude, for years, I gaslit myself into thinking that movie wasn't that bad. It is. It sent Green Lantern back so far. It did so much damage to the lanterns. And if that happens again, like, I just don't know what I'll do, man. I just don't know what I'll do. Cool124 says, what do you think of the Michael Jackson movie? It looks cool, man. I'm excited for it. Fan of Michael, not like a super fan or anything like that, but a fan of Michael. And so, yeah, I also love, I think it's Antoine Fuqua, the guy that did the film. That's incredible. I think his nephew being a part of it gives it a nice validity, you know, that otherwise might be missing. So, yeah. I did the same thing, Josh. Don't know why. Self-gaslighting myself. You talking about Predator Badlands, Ross? Oh! No, I'm just kidding. Like, look, maybe it's not. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe it's. I'm just playing. We need Martian Manhunter. Yeah, Martian Manhunter would be cool for sure. I think that's an essential character. John, is pretty important. Sorry for the caps, but what made me like Gunn was the first Guardians movie. Everything else, not really. Yeah, that's fair, and you're all good, brother. I liked the Superman movie a lot. I liked Guardians 3 a lot. I think Guardians 1 is like a masterpiece, but, you know, Guardians 1 is not fully Gunn. You know, he had the co-writer. The Guardians 1 kind of comes out of like the Marvel farm a bit, and Gunn puts his stamp on it, and of course he did great, but, you know, there's this sort of retelling of history now that like Gunn came in and was like this hotshot dude doing everything right away. It's like, no, he was put on a spec script, dude. You know what I mean? No, and he's the fucking co-president of the DCU. It worked out for him. But like this revisionist history that like Gunn was this genius that came in and actually was all the workhorse behind Marvel and all that. Nah. When will the brand new Day trailer release? A lot of all caps in here. Not sure, man. Some speculation that it could be releasing in front of Avatar, which would be on December 18th. I think that would be cool, but we'll have to see. Gunn doesn't straddle up, confirmed. What? I would prefer the Superman Justice League animated series version of Brainiac. Gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that would be cool. Green Lantern animated movies are better. Just like animated show, movie better for Green Lantern. That stuff's all great, man. That stuff's all great, for sure. But the live action's where the big numbers are. That's where people really dial in. So that's, you know, that's what they're chasing. Isn't Doomsday releasing in front of Avatar? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Rumors that they both could be. Wouldn't that be wild? Ranch, get him out of here. Happy birthday. Thanks, brother. To keep up with all the caps. What should I eat for lunch? What should this guy eat for lunch, man? You know what? Get yourself a Pittsburgh salad. Pittsburgh salad. Nice, like, kind of almost Cobb salad. A bunch of steak on that, John. Throw an order of French fries on the top. And you're all good, baby. Fuqua, John Logan, Academy Award writer, 2 Academy Award. Wow, I didn't even know it was stacked like that. Yeah, they're certainly cooking with gas. As well they should. I mean, I think Michael Jackson is the most famous person that ever lived, maybe besides Jesus, right? Like, literally, probably the most famous individual other than Jesus that has walked the fucking earth. So, yeah. You should definitely spend some resources on that. I'm trying to convince my girl to see Avatar just so I can watch the Doomsday trailer. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe it'll come out online too. You know, I think a lot of us are still kind of waiting for that. Only thing I liked about Gunn Superman was Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific was awesome. Never heard of a Pittsburgh salad. Sounds good. Hell yeah, brother. We do some stuff right over here, you know? We do some stuff right on around these parts. I would argue Muhammad is more well known, but I get what you mean. Yeah, that's fair. That's actually probably fair. You know, these kind of questions are so interesting to me. The other day, we got into a debate of who actually had more lore, like Warhammer or Tolkien. And then one of our members brought up the idea of Cthulhu and Lovecraft, right? And so we started like thinking about, because I get what you're saying, and it's actually kind of interesting to recontextualize and take a second look at some of these questions, because, like, for instance, if you consider the fact that Lovecraftian writing, like, a lot of it is unpublished, and one of the ideas, because he had open, it was all public domain, and the idea was he wanted people, like Lovecraft and people that liked Lovecraft want people to engage and write within that world. Estimates that over 500 million words have been written in Lovecraft, which is like wild. And it's like, you never really, it's interesting to think about that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty wild. By the way, I once went on I wish I saved this statistic. I once went on a deep research rabbit hole, and I was trying to figure out how many posts, like, because I was basically making this argument that I think Infinity War and Endgame, mostly Endgame, is probably one of the most viewed movies of all time. That the average person, and dude, maybe I should just pull up this research because it was wild. We got to the point where, like, we could say the average person has seen Endgame over 3 times. The average person. has seen Endgame 3 times on the planet. Okay, now that does not mean they have seen the whole movie, but it means they have seen the movie through a meme, through a GIF, through a clip. That movie was so prevalent. And then I started to look into like how many social media posts has the Marvel Cinematic Universe had over the last like 10 years. And like, dude, one of the things I discovered when I went in deep into this research thing was like, it totally makes sense why the Minecraft movie popped off, actually, because the only thing that rivaled Marvel in social media posts was Minecraft. They were both really close. And I was like, oh, wow, that actually makes sense, because Minecraft's the biggest game maybe of all time. And it's been so popular for so long. And it's in the same way that Endgame has, it has permeated pop culture with memes and GIFs and jokes and things like that, right? So Minecraft has had like 900 million to 1 billion impressions, you know, over the last 5 to 10 years. And I think Marvel is right there. Like the MCU is right there. And another thing I'm just yapping now, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just yapping. We'll get into some more news in a second, but just walk with me on this. I had this thought because look, I definitely think that the Warhammer Cinematic Universe has a chance to pop off. I know you guys don't fucking believe me, and I know it's like a crazy contender. I think it has the chance to be like the next MCU, the next Game of Thrones. I think it could be Lord of the Rings level. I think it could be huge. But I kind of also have this thought that there might never be another MCU, and that Marvel might actually, like that Marvel and the MCU itself might actually remain as the most, like it is the most widely loved and seen franchise ever because of what I just talked about. All that social media shit. It was on its come up and became the biggest thing in media at a time when social media was popping. And so many generations, and I almost think that nothing else will ever happen like this. And also, if Disney was smart, they would do everything they could to try to repair this, because I think this is, I think this is the biggest thing, and I don't know that anything else will ever be as big, right? Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that shit? I mean, that's kind of wild, right? Like, it's kind of a wild idea for theaters. Yeah, though. I mean, yeah, it could potentially be just in the theaters, but like, okay, so I saw a clip from Casey Neistat yesterday that made me think a lot, okay? And, you know, Casey was talking about the sort of funnel of quality. Okay, now I want you to hear me out on this because it's kind of interesting. What he was talking about was like when he was a kid, and I can kind of remember this too. It's like a little bit when I was a kid too. And Space Trex, dude, I love you, brother. Thank you for the 20. Let me yap about this, and then I'll get into your question here with the 20. Okay, thank you, brother. So what Casey was saying was when he was a kid, and I kind of remember this too, everything we saw on TV, everything we saw in the movie had gone through the funnel of like, okay shit, decent shit, really good shit, great. Meaning there was a lot fewer input into the funnel. And also all of the ways we watched entertainment was a little bit more controlled or like modulated. So there were only so many channels. You didn't have the internet really. You didn't really have smartphones. You had your movie theaters, you had your radio stations, and you had your TV channels. And because of that, what happened was everything that everybody saw at the bottom of the funnel had made it through the funnel and therefore was very, very high quality. And so what that created was a sense in the zeitgeist, or just a sense in the public, that everything that was coming out was incredible, and we all wanted to talk about all of it, and like everybody could get around and talk about how great this movie was, everybody could talk about how great this show was, everybody could talk about how great this radio thing was, this, that, second, and the third, right? But what has happened now, of course, is partially because of the internet and social media, but also partially because of like AI and generative just generative technology in general. You know, because Instagram filters are like a version of AI and shit like that, right? So, but what has happened now is there's so much at the top and there's no controlled modulation at the bottom. So everybody's watching like a million things. And everybody's watching things that vary wildly in quality. And so it's no longer the case that like we can all agree that this one thing that came out is so cool, or that this movie came out as like the movie, right? That, and I think this is actually an explanation for a little bit of what has happened to Hollywood, right? Because Hollywood is sort of built on that old modulated system, and that's just not happening anymore, right? So there is kind of a, and that kind of goes into what I'm talking about here with Marvel, is like, I don't know that there will ever be anything as big as Marvel, and Marvel might end up being, even as we move into the future and it becomes diminished, it still might end up being the biggest thing out there, because everybody's attention is so divided, and there are no more like pillars of this shit, right? So, just some thoughts, man, just some things, you know, sometimes I sit in here and just think, and that's what I've been thinking about with regards to Marvel, you know, entertainment, all of this sort of stuff. I'm just trying to like figure it out. I'm trying to synthesize it, probably like everybody else is, partially because of, you know, I feel it's my job, but also I just am interested. I'm curious about it. So does that make sense, guys? Do you understand where you got where I'm going with that? Let me get to this 20 here. Really appreciate the $20 holla from Space Trix's The Night Primark. Says, hey man, haven't been here in a while. Missed you. Missed the street. Have you missed me? Got distracted building my knights and started building a new army. That Codex, brother. Wait, what army did you build? Starting to look like some bullshit. Warhammer is it. Star Wars is dead. F9 Ray movies. Yeah. You know, what army are you building, brother? Don't tell me you're building the Blue Boys. You building the goddamn Ultramarines? What are you building here? Appreciate the $20. Either way, though, bud. The Infinity War hype made... Okay, hang on. No, he said Knights, and then he said a different army, I thought. Or is he talking about the Knights Codex? Mr. Super? Sorry, buddy. Let me get back to that. Ark Raiders peak, let's go. Have a good day, Mr. Josh. Appreciate you, Byron. Don't be gaslit to think Badlands is girl boss, my bro. All right. What if you got gaslit and thinking it isn't, though? I'm going to have to go see this movie. You guys are bullying me into seeing this movie, man. Louis the Jedi says, 31 months. Happy to be here. Really excited for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Oh, yeah, and you've been enjoying your break. Appreciate it. And then Justin Age, 2 years of Nerdvenge. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Templars, F them books. No one reads Codex. The Templars are awesome, brother. If you're the Black Templars, then we're down. I'm good with you. That's a cool army. Black Templars so much cooler than the Ultramarines. No offense to the Ultramarines. Actually, offense to the Ultramarines. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I literally I don't know. I just had an out-of-body experience and started yapping about some crazy shit. Mr. Penguin, appreciate the 10. Says, I have started the Studio Ghibli films for the first time, and man, Japan can do their princesses way better than Disney. So far, my favorite one is Spirited Away. Oh, yeah, that's a great one. We love that one in this house, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I love Studio Ghibli films too, and I think Miyazaki is obviously a genius. However, if you really start getting into that stuff and you're kind of curious, I always talk about Perfect Blue. And Perfect Blue is done by a director over there that was kind of like their Hitchcock. And he did a bunch of movies, man. I love his work, but Perfect Blue in particular is an incredible movie. And the reason I bring it up a lot is because Christopher Nolan straight up jacks that movie, dude. He steals some of the best shit from Inception, comes from Perfect Blue. And Perfect Blue is one of the best films I've ever seen, and it's an Japanese animated movie. So highly recommend if you're loving the Ghibli stuff, and don't get me wrong, there's a different vibe, brother. You're talking about Ghibli that's like really feel good. It's like Peter Jackson, like happy-go-lucky shit. I'm talking about Alfred Hitchcock, like Lars von Trier level shit. But if you can appreciate that kind of stuff, I recommend it, dude. Perfect Blue is an incredible. I keep trying to get Paul from Heavy Spoilers. I keep trying to get him to watch Perfect Blue, man. You know what I mean? He's a big movie guy, and like, dude, I don't think it gets like if you're a movie guy, I feel like you got to get out there and sample some of these things that are outside of like our normal purview. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, totally. That's a great one too. I don't remember getting that at the video stores as a kid. VHS. Oh, you remember getting it? Wow, that's crazy. Oh, am I thinking of Paprika? I might be thinking of Paprika, actually. Yep, you're right. Super Vash, you got me. Yep, it was Paprika. That movie's incredible. Perfect Blue is incredible too, though, dude. I love both those films. But yes, Paprika is the one. Paprika will freak you out, man. Paprika will freak your ass out. Steve McT, appreciate you, brother, says, do you think algorithms intentionally divide us, or is that the nature of the technology, or a bit of both? Yeah, I think they purposely divide us. I mean, look, the thing is, right, there's two ways to look at these issues. I think the one way is sort of like conspiratorial, but the other way that I think is actually more accurate is objectives tend to align. And I think some of this stuff is not as deep. It's just more the case that, like, what does the social media company want? You know, engagement. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? Like, what are these people? And then if their interests align, then you will see what looks to be conspiracy in action, but it's really just like aligned purpose. Like, everybody has a goal. So do I think the algorithms are intentionally dividing us? Absolutely. And I think there could be some forces that are doing it for the sake of crushing the human soul and causing us distress so that our loosh spikes and they can carve it off like the foam of some fine cheese. But it's also the case that there are people within that pipeline that are just doing it because they want to make money. Do you know what I mean? So some of these people become useful idiots for maybe more nefarious purposes, right? But at the end of the day, it's aligned purpose, I think, is what it mostly is. Yeah. My grandparents live in Erie. Crazy history. It is a crazy town. A lot of mob history here. Erie is an interesting place. Yes, and if you've lived here, you know all about it. All right, let's get into some Doc Strange 3 shit. Let's talk some Doc Strange 3, baby. Okay, now, part of the reason I think this is so damn cool is because we've been talking about this for a while. And remember, I kind of brought up the other day that Mr. Jeff Snyder was out there talking about this movie, saying that a script was probably going to come in and they were going to go rather quickly into it if that were the case, if they liked the script. So let's check this out. This is over on Nexus Point News, who are very good. They're very good over at Nexus Point News. So it says here, Doctor Strange 3 in early development at Marvel Studios, Nexus off the record. Now, they call it off the record, I believe, because they couldn't get it like 100% confirmed. So we're in sort of a gray area here. But one of the things Disney's been doing, and Jeff has sort of told us about this, is Disney's just lying to people, dude. Used to be the case that, like, Jeff could, and his words, not mine. When Jeff found out about RDJ Doctor Doom, he called Marvel up and said, I've heard Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom. They literally said that's not true. They lied to him. And then they confirmed it the next Sunday. And that sucks, dude, because he had it. They should have been no comment or confirm it. Confirm it and say you can't say it. But no, what Disney started to do, and maybe this is just kind of a sign of the times, Disney started to just tell these people no, or just not confirm anything. So I think people like Demet here are potentially in like sort of a gray area similar to Snyder. That is why Jeff has been more vocal lately, but he also will tell you that he's gotten less accurate because he doesn't actually have a way to go to the studio anymore. So that's what we live in now. And I think that's a good price to pay. Like, I'm down with all of that. So, with all that being said, let's get into the report. It has now been 3 years since Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness premiered, and the film's journey to the screen remains one of the more turbulent productions in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When the sequel was first announced, original Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson was set to return, and Marvel promoted the film as the MCU's first true horror experience. Early reports emphasized that the story would explore darker supernatural elements, with Doctor Strange and Wanda Maximoff sharing the spotlight with what many assumed to be a bold stylistic shift for the franchise. However, in early 2020, Derrickson departed the project due to creative differences with Marvel Studios. With his exit, the film's horror-driven identity began to shift, and the project entered a period of retooling. Sam Raimi was recruited to direct, accompanied by Loki writer Michael Waldron, who was tasked with reworking the script. Production was further complicated by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, which delayed filming and forced significant adjustments to the schedule and creative process. As Raimi and Waldron reshaped the story, by the way, Sony also had something to do with this. Sony playing games forced Marvel to recalibrate their plans for Spider-Man. Spider-Man was supposed to come out before this movie. Spider-Man was going to come out before Multiverse of Madness. And due to some fuckery over at Sony, they scrapped that, changed that movie, changed this movie. And I mean, we've heard Waldron did 17 drafts for Multiverse of Madness. And they shot a whole movie's worth of reshoots in November, about 3 to 4 months before the thing came out. So, like, yeah, it was a mess. As Raimi and Waldron reshaped the story, many of the cast members found themselves learning dramatic new details on short notice. Elizabeth Olsen later revealed that she discovered only 3 weeks before filming began that Wanda would be the primary antagonist of the film. This revelation reportedly conflicted with her expectations, as she believed the story would be more of an ensemble piece that would build on Wanda's arc from WandaVision rather than pivoting her into a villain role so soon after the sympathetic portrayal in the series. You guys know how I feel about that. What sympathetic portrayal? What are you talking about? She was horrible. Despite its complicated development, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was met with many positive, though notably mixed, reactions upon release. Raimi's direction was praised for his energetic style, inventive horror-inspired sequences, and willingness to embrace stylistic flair rarely seen in the MCU projects. Many viewers and critics felt that the film stood out visually as one of the more distinct entries in the entire franchise. I still believe that. I still really like Multiverse of Madness. I've come down on it a bit. I used to call it a masterpiece. I don't call it a masterpiece anymore because Illumawati and just... I honestly think Feige should have reined Raimi in a little bit on some of that stuff, but regardless. However, much of the criticism targeted the writer and character arcs. Wanda's transformation into a villain was polarizing. That is fair, especially given the emotional depth and nuance of WandaVision. Some fans felt her portrayal relied too heavily on the hysterical woman trope and reduced her motivations to grief-fueled rage without adequately building upon growth she experienced in the series. I mean, that's fair. People have that opinion. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange's own development was seen by some as limited, with several viewers feeling that the film did not explore the character as deeply as expected for a sequel centered on him. I also think that is fair. Doctor Strange's future in the MCU remained uncertain ever since Multiverse of Madness hit theaters. The sequel concluded with a last-minute introduction of Clea, played by Charlize Theron, which appeared to set up a direct continuation of Strange's story. Naturally, fans expected Marvel to follow through on that cliffhanger in short order. Do we really, though? I mean, these days we're like, when did we see Shang-Chi last? Like 6 years? However, speculation grew when neither Benedict Cumberbatch nor Charlize Theron appeared on the official cast list for Avengers Doomsday, leaving many to wonder whether Marvel intended to resolve that storyline elsewhere or at all. As of now, I'm hearing that Doctor Strange 3 is in active early development. I want to emphasize that none of what I'm about to say next is fully confirmed. I'm simply sharing what I've been told by some sources. According to what I've heard, Benedict Cumberbatch is becoming more involved behind the scenes this time around, particularly in the search for a new writer and director. One name Cumberbatch is said to be interested in is Sam Mendes. You guys are going to have to help me out with that. Though that seems unlikely given Mendes has 4 Beatles biops. He's doing whoa, okay. Neither Sam Raimi or Michael Waldron are expected to return for the 3rd installment. Additionally, the film isn't expected to begin production until after Secret Wars has finished filming. Okay. That's kind of juicy. So let's go over this. Active early development. I think we've all known that. The reports that the script was coming in soon from Snyder, a lot of rumblings. Charles Murphy's talked about it. Cosmic Circus has teased it. A lot of people think we're getting a lot more Steven. So that tracks. Benedict Cumberbatch becoming more involved behind the scenes, that tracks as well. I mean, the trajectory of the actors that stay at Marvel tends to do this. You look at Tom Hiddleston, he is heavily involved in the curation of what goes on in the Loki show and all of the stuff that happens with that character. So he's I think he's an executive producer on that show. So that's a pretty common thing as well. That tracks. Searching for a new writer and director, Sam Mendes. What else has Sam Mendes done? I'm probably going to feel silly by asking that question, but what else has Sam Mendes done? Like, am I crazy? What? Oh, he did some Bond stuff? He did Daniel Craig Bond movies? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Okay, I like that. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, thanks, chat. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Neither Sam Raimi nor Michael Waldron are expected to return. That's kind of interesting. Additionally, the film isn't expected to begin production until after Secret Wars has finished filming. Now, that part there, let's focus on that part there for just a moment. So, it's not going to start filming until after Secret Wars is done. I think that makes sense. I think the implication there is that the movie will not be a story that happens before Secret Wars, right? That is still somewhat up for debate. I've had other people reach out to me and say, no, I think it'll still come before Secret Wars. So just to be clear, I have been hearing some stuff like that. But look, here's the deal. I am torn between two ways of looking at this. On the one hand, I want as much content during this time period. If we're really doing time runs out, which a lot of indicators are suggesting that we're doing time runs out. If we're really doing time runs out, then I want as much time runs out as is humanly possible. I mean, this was 4 to 5 years of comics, incredible ups and downs. It was so good. So any movie or show that would come out during this time period that could further flesh out the story of Time Runs Out would be absolutely incredible. By the way, Bo DeMeo has talked about the Nomad show publicly, and Bo has said that the Nomad show was a go, but they couldn't crack it. Like, they couldn't figure it out. So, like, for years and years and years, they had planned on doing a show with Steve Rogers. That was the Nomad show, which was going to sort of explain some of this multiversal shenanigans stuff, and they literally just couldn't crack it, okay? So on the one hand, I'm frustrated because I want more, and we haven't had a proper build up for this thing, and we haven't had a proper multiversal saga. So yes, I would appreciate a Doctor Strange movie before Secret Wars. However, I am also torn because the other side of this is they need to put all the time, energy, resources, and money that they have into making Doomsday and Secret Wars what they need to be. And what they need to be is some of the most successful movies of all time. Like, that's legit, right? And we just delayed both of these films 7 months a pop. They're planning the most expensive and crazy marketing campaign of all time for the first movie. So I'm torn between, I want Doc Strange 3 streamlined, and I want more of the Secret Wars thing. I want more of the Battleworld. I want more of Time Runs Out. I want more. But also, no more games. No more games. No more fooling around. And also, I've been really hung up on this thing that Alex said in the latest Q&A, that Marvel was forced to put things out before they were ready. And I keep coming back to this stuff that Snyder was saying about how Bob Iger would not be pleased if there was only one Marvel movie in 2027 and there was only one Marvel movie in 2026. And I'm kind of in the vibe of, like, I don't give a fuck what Bob Iger thinks. You know what I mean? So maybe it's okay if we get just the wham bam, thank you ma'am, Doomsday, Secret Wars, okay? And then on top of that, this Doctor Strange movie, I think, could be a great film to like bring us into the new universe, to the new 616, to the reboot, essentially. And I think Strange is the perfect character for that. I would imagine, and chat, you let me know if you agree with this or not. I would imagine that if there are characters that remember the Secret War, I would imagine Steven's one of them. You know what I mean? So, like, if that's the case, then Steven is the perfect character to, like, serve as somewhat of an epilogue to the Secret War story and sort of a prologue to this new version of the MCU. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm comfortable with this thing coming out later. And if we start to look at what the reboot looks like, right? Because you got X-Men, you're gonna have Black Panther 3, which, by the way, there were some reports out there about Black Panther, which we can kind of TLDR here. Number one, Daniel is continuing to talk about a second Black Panther in Doomsday. That's probably the Black Panther from a different reality. Sure, he's going to be a Black Panther in that thing too. So that's probably what Daniel's on about there. And again, that's not new either, right? But a lot of rumors around Shadow of Wakanda, the third Black Panther movie. I mean, Denzel was out there talking about this. Ryan Coogler's out there talking about this. There's some stuff starting to leak out about it as well. So Secret Wars, we're going to have like Doomsday, Secret Wars, an MCU sort of soft reboot, or what did Feige call it? Like a retooling or I don't remember the word he used. He doesn't like the word reboot. Reset, maybe? And then after that, you're looking at Doc Strange 3, Black Panther 3, and the MCU X-Men movie. That's a strong lineup. Like, that's a really strong lineup. Yeah, so I think this is all good. I think this is all good. I'm a little bit bummed, but yeah, that's what I think about it. So, with all that in mind, chat, what do you guys think of this? What do you make of this whole situation here? You feeling a similar way? Are you mad about it? What do you think? Let me pull up the chat. Pull up the chat here, see what y'all are saying here. That's actually a really good point. Rushing content is what got us into this mess in the first place. Call me your cardigan, Bob. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be as chill as I can about this, but I'm telling you, I'm really starting to feel that's what happened. And I think it makes sense, right? Oh, and then the super chat was, couldn't crack Nomad, but cracked 8 dog shit shows. Yeah, for real though. Like, that's 100%. And it's like, damn, bro. I think they chose poorly there, because like all the Goobly Glob shows ended up actually doing damage, and I think Nomad, if done correctly, would have been absolutely incredible. Like, but the thing is, they didn't even have showrunners back then, so man, I know some shit I cannot say about Marvel and their shows. They just didn't. They really thought they could do anything. And man, they couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, we could just leave it there. They really thought they could do anything. And they could not. What up, Patoske? I hope you're doing well, brother. I think Doc Strange 3 could be good. Epilogue for the Multiverse Saga. Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad Raimi isn't coming back. I like Raimi, but I think we'll all be better off if Raimi did something else. You know, Raimi should do Spider-Man 4 with Toby, dude. So no Friday stream? What? Blade, Midnight Suns, Werewolf by Night, or whatever. They just need to group all the IP into their own corner of Secret Wars. Throw Ghost Rider in too. Throw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in. I mean, that would be super fun. Yeah, that would be great. If Strange doesn't die in Secret Wars, then it isn't Secret Wars. Wait, what? Well, a lot of people are going to die, but they're going to come back. I think that's the thing, yeah? The MCU reset should take place in the 90s. Can leave Fassbender, Magneto. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting, right? I don't think that's the route they're going to go, but you never know, I guess, until we see it. Also, you have to look in the grand scheme. The Yanks took a break since 2009 after wrecking shop in the 90s. Eli slays Brady, and the Giants suck for a decade now. Marvel does Endgame, and we have Phase 4. Yeah, there's always ebbs and flows, for sure. 100%. Yeah. I think it's probably also fair to say though that like the trouble with Marvel is like it's like they were juggling all these plates and then it all started to kind of come apart. And then I think like my thing that made it worse was like they just kept making it all. Like they didn't say to themselves, okay, maybe stop everything and recalibrate. It was like they tried to fix the plane while it was in the air, and a bunch of half measures and Feige being extended beyond his bandwidth. That was never going to work, right? So that's my issue is like, I totally understand coming into a thing, a new phase, and new ideas and all this stuff, and it starts not working. But their problem was they like, they kind of like ego checked themselves and they were like, nah, you know what I mean? And then, I don't want to get too far down the road, but I just think there's a cultural problem. It was a cultural problem, you know? But yeah. Randon says, do you think if Strange dies, they will recast him when he comes back? So I thought about a recast, but this article obviously doesn't imply that at all, Randon. You look at this article and they're saying he's more involved than ever. He's going to be an executive producer. So, you think he's going to say, you know what, let's recast me? No, I don't think so. Velvet says, yo, loving watching the streams. I don't know if you remember me, but I told you about F4 in May. Have you heard Chaos Space Marine by BCNR? I think it's about Warhammer. I thank you, Velvet. Appreciate you, brother. I have not heard that. The Chaos Space Marine. Maybe I'll watch. Maybe I'll check it out though. Is it like a parody song? Is it a rock and roll song or something? That could be cool. Josh, is the cultural better now? From what I understand, the culture is much better there. Yeah, but and this is something else I kind of don't like. I really don't like their strategy that they did in 2025 because how am I supposed to sell you on that, right? Because like, look, dead ass, bro, you have no reason to believe me. Like you're asking me like, is the culture changed? I'm sitting here like, yes, it is. But the last shit they released was fucking Marvel Zombies with the girls. So how can I say that to you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you believe me? I'll tell you that's what I've heard. And I think 2025 was like, let's just get it over with. Let's like just get it all out of there. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, look, I think what some fans have to ask themselves is how much of this crap that I'm sick of could I actually deal with and still enjoy Marvel? And I think what Marvel needs to realize is it's way less than it used to be. So, and this is a nuanced point. It's difficult for people to understand, but I've been trying to beat this drum for a while because I'm nervous that they're not going to understand this. And this feels a little bit to me like the Predator Badlands thing. The goalposts have moved. So when Endgame came out and all the girls were protecting Peter Parker, I don't know too many of us that really got upset about that. I know some people that did, but like I don't know how many of us like actually got that mad about it because we were just like gushing about all this other shit and how much we were excited. I'm just saying, like, dude, I think we've moved so far away from that you do that now and people are going to freak out. Do you know what I mean? So, and again, that's not like I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be authoritarian. I'm trying to tell you what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. And at the end of the day, like if you're making commercial art, you're making art for a customer base that is already there. They already have their sensibilities. And by the way, you bought the IP. You didn't create this shit. You bought it. You bought it because the people that fucked with it heavy. So it is on you to understand your customer base. This silly idea that I'm going to educate my customers. What? No, you understand your customers. You provide for your customers. You serve your customers. Fuck out of here. I'm going to educate my customers. What? Crazy. So, in my opinion, that culture has shifted. But again, it is difficult to look you in the eye and tell you that. I understand why you don't believe it. You know? We cringed and moved on. Yeah, I think that's accurate. 100%. I know you probably won't, but I really wish you would just watch all of Marvel Zombies before completely crapping on it. It does have redeemable episodes and some great battles. I totally get what you're saying, Jay. I totally get what you're saying. And all I'm trying to say is, like, as the guy that would, like, I would literally make money from that. And I literally don't want to because I'm so burnt out. I'd rather keep my love of Marvel alive. Like, it's getting to the point that, like, I don't know how many more of these things I can take. Brother, if Matt Murdock's ex-girlfriend starts lecturing him in season 2, like, I'm not gonna have a rational reaction. Like, I'm so far past having a rational reaction. It's like, look, I totally get it, Jay. I'm not trying to be rude about this, but I'm trying to just tell you where I'm at. And if I'm here, imagine where other people are at. You know what I'm saying? All right. So anyway, that's a whole lot of yapping on that. Okay. Should we talk about some crazy stuff? Should we talk about some crazy stuff? Can we get into it? Because this is pretty wild. This is pretty wild here. So, we've been discussing pretty much all week. We have been discussing the female variants of Doctor Doom. This is a massive story, blew up over the weekend. Daniel RPK came out with the report that there would be a lot of Doctor Doom variants in Doomsday, including female variants. Now, we have to take you through the whole thing just so you kind of understand where we're at. Other people pushed back on this. Gary Nerderotic came out and said this was not true at all, okay? And I had a source reach out to me that said it not only was it real, but my source gave me some details. Now, the details my source gave me was there would be 3 female variants. One would be dressed in purple, one would be dressed in green, and one would be dressed in gold, and they would all be wearing golden masks. Okay? But my impression of that when I heard it was like, I don't think those are female variants of Doctor Doom. And, you know, we've talked about how the Avengers Forever run and the Doom Above All Dooms had a group of villains known as the Multiversal Masters of Evil, and there was a variant of Jean Grey Phoenix that was known as the Dark Phoenix that had a golden mask and was wearing purple. So we have reason to believe that maybe these are not Doctor Doom variants, but rather allies to Doom wearing gold masks as some like uniform or some idea of subservience to Doom. Okay. And so I'll tell you what happened next. And it's really interesting. One of my great sources. Do you guys know the source I refer to as the Omega source? The guy that gave me all the Star Wars stuff and the Anakin stuff for Ahsoka season 2. So Omega source hit me up to confirm this. So that I found out first thing when I woke up. I was like looking into messages and whatnot, and I found that first thing this morning. The next thing I found out was that John Roca also confirmed this shit. So let's get into this. Let's look at this article. This is referring to John Roca's scoop on this. And we're going to pull it all together because I think I know where this is going. Marvel's Avengers Doomsday will not only feature Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, but there will be multiple variants of Doom. According to John Roca on a recent episode of The Hot Mic, Avengers Doomsday will feature multiple Doctor Doom variants. At least 2 of these variants are female. One wears a purple cloak with a golden mask. Another one wears a gold cloak with a mask. A male Doom variant will also appear in the film. Wow. You can mention that for Avengers Doomsday, there are at least 2 female Doctor Dooms, one with a purple cloak and golden mask, and the other with a gold cloak and a mask. And there's other Dooms as well, including male ones. That's probably what his source told him. It is reported that several cast members may be portraying different versions of Doctor Doom from alternate universes. The film is also said to introduce the concept of the Council of Dooms, replacing the multiversal Council of Kangs. Wow. Most recently, the internet scooper Daniel revealed on his Patreon that fans can expect either a horde of Doom variants or an army of Doom bots. Now, of course, this all ties into what we were talking about yesterday, upon discovering that the Dark Phoenix variant that had the golden mask was in the Avengers Forever run, I took another look at what could be going on here with Doom. And I think the confusion, as Daniel says here, either a horde of Doom variants or an army of Doombots, I think that confusion is because they're kind of both. They're drones, which, like, the Doombot thing is a drone, but instead of being actual Doombots, they're going to be variants. Because in the Avengers Forever run, the Doom above all dooms goes around, collects dooms, has them go mad and cut out their own tongues, and then they become essentially Doombots to him. They're like drones. They've gone mad. They cut out their own tongues. Pretty crazy, man. Pretty interesting. So look, at the end of the day here, like, look, because some people said, I was talking about this on Twitter and people were like, but Gary said this isn't true. And look, Gary's gotten stuff wrong already in the time that I've been following on Scoops, but I don't think he's necessarily wrong about this one because I think Gary knows that they're not Doctor Doom variants. Okay. But also Gary could just be wrong. They could be Doctor Doom variants. They could be, Marvel could be cooking something pretty wild. And in that regard, if what I think they're doing is what they're doing, it's not just going to be like, oh, there's female Dooms. There's going to be way more to it than that, right? And of course, hearing yesterday the scoops that both Clea and Sylvie would be working with Doctor Doom secretly, kind of makes me think that could be your green cloak, that could be your purple cloak, and your gold cloak could be Wanda or maybe a version of Doom. I'm not really sure, right? But it is kind of interesting that John is out here talking about this. But you know who else has a gold mask, ladies and gentlemen? Now we got to get a little weird with it. Now we got to get a little weird with it. You know who else had a golden mask? This guy. This guy right here. And if you didn't know, this is a actual birthday party invitation that was put out by one Robert Downey Jr. Oh, and by the way, this is a photo from that very birthday dinner. And one of the things you'll notice is that this look here with the golden mask and the frilly curly hair, which by the way, his hair is crazier than mine. This is wild. Wearing a golden mask tends to look a lot like this potential variant look for Doctor Doom. Okay, so hang on. Hang on now. What the hell could be going on here? Well, I think it's the case that there will be several variants of Doctor Doom that are played by Downey, of course. And remember, Chris Claremont, God bless him, came out and was talking some mad shit on Marvel, and he said Downey's coming back to play 4 different characters, at least. So this is probably one of them. Now, what do I think's going on with this? So what I think this part's speculation. Just hear me on this. This is speculation, okay? But what I think is going on is you will have a ton of variants of Doctor Doom. And you know what this is really reminding me of is, like, there were those scoops that said Doom had a vendetta against the multiverse. Guys, I'm really starting to believe, and maybe it's just the case that I do that thing where I go to the craziest explanation. I do the craziest fanboy theory or whatever. But I'm starting to go to this place that some of you have already gone to, which is that all this shit might be fake. That Doom might have found out the truth about the multiverse, sacrificed his own son to gain power, to start to destroy the multiverse, to remake it. Now, currently, that is not what the scoopers and the insiders are saying, and that's because I think they're not being told that by Marvel. But I think it's possible Marvel is cooking up some insane twists. Actually, I think they're cooking up several big twists that we won't even know about until the movie. And I think one of them is that RDJ's Doom, the main Doom, is the Doom above all Dooms. And this scene that was described to me with the 3 female variants in gold masks, a male version of Doctor Doom that had the mouthpiece removed from the mask, a variant of Doctor Doom that had horns. I think that's your Council of Dooms, or your Doom's variant Doombot army, multiversal masters of evil, or as Anthony Mackie referred to it the day Downey was announced, Doom's Illuminati. I think that's probably what it is. And I think this right here was Downey playing a particular variant of Doctor Doom. And when I look at this Doctor Doom here, do you know what I see? I see the court gesture. I see a version of Doom that the other Doom keeps around as a pet because he reminds him a lot of the variant of himself from 616, who they call Tony Stark. And I wonder if this guy would be some kind of court gesture pet or some kind of thing that Victor is going to keep on a leash. That's speculation. But yeah, the more and more we look at all of this stuff, man, I think this is going in a pretty dark direction. And we keep hearing these things from all the scoopers that, like, Clea initially working with Doom, but then she realizes his real plan. Sylvie working with Doom, and then he realizes his real plan. At some point, look, I there's some stuff I can't say, but I'll say this. I wouldn't be surprised if at one point Reed Richards and Professor X, who have kind of been fighting each other, realize that Victor is playing everybody. So the more and more that comes out about this film, it really does feel as though there are machinations, plans within plans, that Doom's on some Doom shit, and part of that means gathering up other Dooms and forcing them to be subservient to him. So that dude, this is crazy. And I also think it's pretty wild that Rocha covered this, man. Oh man, it's all starting to come out, boys. It's all starting to come out. When I was talking about this gold shit, nobody believed it. Now Rocha's talking about it, people are going to believe it. So thank you, Rocha. Chris said with a 10 spot, and that's now 3 people that have confirmed this, including Rocha. 2 sources in Rocha. Chris says with a 10 spot, appreciate you, buddy. Says, what if it's Doom that pulls Iron Man out of time during Endgame, thinking he's going to change Tony by telling him the truth about Kang, changing the timeline, manipulating him, but Tony doesn't turn. So that's not a bad idea. But what I would tell you is I'm beginning to get the impression that Doom knows a lot of this shit is fake, including Tony Stark. So he doesn't have a high opinion or much regard in general for Tony Stark or the Sacred Timeline, or maybe any timeline. Maybe Downey Doom is the one we saw in F4 isn't Prime Doom. That's an interesting idea. Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Oh. Yep. Purple cloak, purple cloak. You're right. Purple cloak. Purple cloak, purple cloak. This movie is going to be way less crazy than y'all think. You'll see. You'll see. I understand your feeling on that, but, you know, I've been in the game for a long time. I have really good sources. You're going to see. You're going to find out. Purple cloak, purple cloak. Is that good? Yo, RDJ's holding up 2 fingers in that pic. Makes you think Doom 2, Peter 2. Ooh, that's kind of an interesting thought. Kind of seems like just a peace sign to me, but sure. We're so close to the trailer, we're really going to edge us for a whole year. Dude, yeah, it's going to be a crazy year, dude. I told you guys yesterday, I was telling my wife about this. I was like, next year's going to be insane. Like, Doomsday reshoots early on. You got Born Again and Punisher. Then you got the build-up for Spider-Man into the summer. The whole while, they're going to be dropping promotion for Doomsday. Then Secret Wars starts filming in June. The whole year, we're going to hear stuff about Secret Wars. It's crazy. Like, next year is going to be absolutely insane. If you're a Marvel fan, and if you're a Marvel content creator, holy shit. Straddle up. Straddle up, boys. Straddle up. Imagine everything expecting RDJ to show up like Chris Evans as a variant of Iron Man or Cap, but then he pulls up AVX out of nowhere and as Doom. That shit would break the internet. But they got chicken. Yeah. We'll see, man. It's going to be crazy. Rossi, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well. You think they attach Secret Wars right after Doomsday credits roll? You mean like a trailer or something? No. I think they let you sit in it. I think they're going to let you sit in it. Although I have heard there are post-credit scenes. So there'll be some post-credit scenes that like show the heroes pop up on the Battleworld. There's apparently a post-credit scene with Doom on Battleworld. But that, I mean, we don't know. That we're a long ways away. You know what I mean? Am I going to be in Avengers Doomsday? No, but that would be sick, dude. I know there are some content creators that are going to be in it, but I'm not one of them. Marvel is stacked 2026, and they nail those films, and Secret Wars will make $2 billion. Yep, I agree. I think that this is a good path forward. You know, it's just a shame that we've gone through what we've gone through, but at the end of the day, like I'm so glad that we have a plan forward that feels like good. So, are we still trying to rent a theater, Nerd Avengers, for Doomsday event? Well, I had said we would rent a theater for Secret Wars. I was always on the fence about Doomsday, but let's see how next year goes, man. Let's see how next year goes. I'll tell you what, we'll make the final decision by summer of next year. By San Diego Comic-Con of next year, we'll decide. And then, yeah, maybe we do like a smaller meetup for that one, and then we do a big meetup for Secret Wars. Because like what I would like to do is we all get in the theater, we watch the movie, and then we're either there for the next showing and we're doing like a commentary, like live stream, I would like to do it with content. So we do like a live audience version of the stream. And I'd prefer to do it like right after the movie and then potentially even roll the movie again. Like, wouldn't that be nuts? But that's a logistical thing. I'm not sure if that's even viable. Maybe we watch the film and then go to another location where then we do the live breakdown. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Josh, I really wish I knew what you know about Doomsday. Damn. Well, the thing is, I'm not even sure that all of it's true, right? Like, I hear a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of people hit me up, and sometimes I feel like people hit me up to throw me off the scent. But I also do speak to, I mean, you guys would be shocked at some of the people I talk to. I can't say it, and I would never betray their trust. But, like, just use your imagination. Like, I talk to some very high-profile people. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to kind of get word from them on what is happening or what is not happening, you know? Yeah. How many wings can you eat in one setting? I think my record was 48 when I was 19. When I was 19, I ate 48 wings. But I can't do that shit today. These days, no. Seconds from Disaster says, I hope we get a funny first meeting scene where Cap sees Doom and says, Tony? And then Doom goes, Johnny? Nope. I understand it. It's a nice thank you for the 5. Funny super chat, but hell no. Hell no. Get that shit out of my face. You deaf got heads in Filoni camp. I don't mind. I like Abeloth. What? Josh getting scooped from KK. What? If Infinity War opening was cold AF with the Thanos stuff, what could work as a cool Doom introduction? Victor killing Thanos or killing Peggy in front of Steve and their kids? Okay, so the scene would be Tobey Maguire's planet, okay? And a portal opens and King Thanos' ship through, okay? But it's not just King Thanos, it's like all the Dark Avengers with him. It's Maestro Hulk, it's all these lieutenants and generals. And then they fucking devastate the planet, okay? And as they're all like, you know, suffering and everything, struggling, maybe Toby gets ripped out and he goes to the TVA. And then Dr. Doom finds the variant of himself on that world, drags him to his castle, and gives him that cold ass speech and forces him to cut out his own tongue. Like, that would be kind of cool. That would be pretty chill if something like that happened. If anyone dies, Franklin can just revive them, right? Yeah, Franklin pretty much do anything. Tom told Toby his alien was purple. Imagine Toby sees Thanos and softly says purple. Oh, I like that. I didn't even think of that. That's fun, man. Does the last name of these sources rhyme with what? Game over for Wanda, maybe. I have a feeling we are massively overhyping what will happen in this movie. I promise you that's not the case. I promise you that's not the case, yeah. If what you said is true about algorithms, then would mean, unfortunately, Marvel will be making a mistake by rebooting the MCU, no matter if it's soft or hard, because audiences could be too attached. I think that's fair. I think that's actually part of the issue they're dealing with internally as well. I think that's a good point. Missed the member chat? Sorry, bud. Let me see what you got. Seconds from disaster. No, I just read that one. Rossi with the rose. Appreciate you. Doom pulls out this. Velvet strings. Oh, couldn't crack Nomad, but cracked 8 dog shit shows. I did read that. I did read that. Or am I, oh, wait, that's not your members chat. Nah, Templars. Huh? Am I missing it? It didn't pop up for me, brother. It didn't pop up for me. Huh. Yeah. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Okay. Guys, that might be all I want to talk about, but let's look at some of the stuff you guys sent me in the PO box because it's so fucking cool and I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, because is there any other stories? Any other stories? Anything else coming? Yeah, that might be it. I think there's some other juicy stuff on the horizon, let's say. Okay, so a couple of things that were gifted to me. First of all, the Facebook people sent me another. If you're watching this, the meta folks, appreciate you guys. They sent me another VR headset. So they originally sent me the 4K MetaQuest 3. They just sent me. Oh wait, this isn't a MetaQuest, is it? Oh, I think it's a strap battery. Okay, that makes more sense. I was gonna say, why did they send me another one of these Johns? Okay. Okay. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say, guys, what the fuck? I don't need 2 of them, but thank you. Okay. Okay. So this one came in from Daniel Ha, which I think I should probably get. So it says here, the gift, a Warhammer book, the punishment, an all new, even hotter hot sauce to try called Fury of the Gods. You can find Daniel hot sauce on Etsy, code nerd15 for 15% off your next order. And I think what I'll do is like, that's a QR code, I think, to get to Daniel's hot sauce shop. And I think what I'll probably do is tape it up somewhere. Maybe I can. That probably doesn't work. That probably doesn't work as well, but. Okay, so what he got me that was really cool was this book right here. I think this is awesome. It says Words of War, the miniature book of Space Marine quotes. We got to pop this open. We got to read a couple Space Marine quotes, man, because that'll get you going. Okay, you're having a tough day. You're having an issue waking up. You don't feel like going to the gym. I got something for your ass. Okay, I'm just gonna open up to a random page. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Treat them with honor, my brothers, not because they will bring us victory this day, but because their fate will one day be ours. That was all right. All right, let's keep going. Here. Only the spirit is pure. The mind may be swayed. The body may fail. Only the soul cradles vengeance purely. Become the weapon of the soul. Damn, I like that. Now that's a good one, man. That's a good one. All right, let's see if we can get a couple more here. That's a pretty common one. The flesh is weak. Okay, here we go. Each path must be chosen with care, lest disaster swallow us whole. That one's okay. You know what I mean? That other one was pretty cold. All right, here's a good one. Here's a good one. To the darkness I bring fire. To the ignorant I bring faith. Those who welcome these gifts may live. But I will visit not but death and eternal damnation upon those who refuse them. Damn! Gets the people going. And of course, Daniel also hooked it up with his hot sauces. Daniel's hot sauces are incredible, but dude, they're hot as fuck. What's this one called here? Because you gave me a variety pack, I would assume, or did you all just give me? Dude, this looks dangerous. What is a Primo Lucifer? What is that, dude? What are you doing to me? Wow, okay. Okay. Oh, I love this one. Yeah. The zesty ginger drop, dude. This is actually a winner. Love that one. This is the relish, the hot relish. Ooh, hell yeah. Some nice hot relish too. Appreciate you, brother. Oh, it looks like I got a couple more here. Okay, this is the supervillain one. This is the one that was like crazy, guys. And apparently this is the one that's even worse. Can you see do you see the color of these, Jones? Like, that's not supposed to go in your body. Like, you can just tell. You look at it and you're like, and we will do this for the Super Bowl. Guys, I did this last year and it was hilarious. I will eat a spicy wing with this hot sauce. And then I will attempt to break down the Doomsday trailer. So look out for that. That's going to be really fun. Oh, okay. I'll try this one out too. That looks good. Yeah. Daniel honestly does incredible stuff, guys. Really, really high quality hot sauce. Really good. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let me get Ben's. So I'll read Ben's letter. Pretty sweet. It says here, thank you, Josh, for all you do for us in your community. Through the good days and the bad days, you still make us laugh and give us something to look forward to the next day. Enjoy the bureau and coffee in the Emperor's Light, Benjamin. Well, Ben, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you. We have been through a lot. Some ups, some downs. You know, I am kind of a wild dude, so occasionally I'll pop the fuck off, and then the community has to go through a bunch of crazy shit. So this is the Happy and Bureau collab, which, of course, I'm really excited about. Limited edition. Okay. Oh, dude, okay. Kane Scarlet Spider. Now, I guess my only question is this a new one or is this that same one? Because this would be my third Kane Scarlet Spider. I do not care, though. I want all of them. I love this character. It's one of my favorite comic book characters. Maybe my favorite one. Kane Scarlet Spider, dude. Awesome. Appreciate you, Ben. Put him right there. Oh, dear God. And then we got, oh, so this is the Bureau Happy. Okay. I actually will try this. Hang on now. Hang on. So your boy talked a lot of shit on Bureau when it first came out. So you might be asking yourself, like, why does anybody send you any goddamn thing, Josh? I can't really answer that. I don't really know. And then other questions might be, what's the deal with you in Bureau? Why don't you like Bureau or whatever, right? And the reason is because I think non-alcoholic beer is like weird and shit. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be rude, but like I'm old school. You know what I mean? It's tough for me to imagine like drinking a beer and not like. I just didn't. I don't know. is weird. But anyway, I've also been educated on this, and I've come to realize that a lot of people, including the younger folks, are not into alcohol as much, and they don't like it. And so NA is huge. It's a big part of the market out there. So with that in mind, guys, a coffee drought. This looks great. I like coffee. A coffee stout is always good. So let's crack this. Let's give it a shot. One of the benefits of NA, and watch me like die on stream because Ben actually tricked me or some shit. It's not bad. It's lighter than I would have thought, actually. You know what I mean? Like, it's lighter than I would have thought. Yeah, it's not really stouty. What is this? It's not bad. It's very drinkable. You drink a ton of it, but like, I don't know. I was expecting maybe a little bit more of a hearty, like a dunkel or like a dark roast. You know what I mean? This is actually pretty light, which I'm kind of surprised by, because like coffee, a lot of the best coffee flavors are like really bitter and like darker. But anyway, thank you, Ben. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Appreciate all the love. This book is incredible. I'll keep this by the stream so that every time there's awesome, we can always just look at a quote from a Space Marine and feel badass. So thank you so much for that. You guys are the best, man. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us today, man. Shorter stream, 2 big topics, a lot of yapping, but clips will go out tomorrow. I don't really like to do clips on Friday, so clips will go out tomorrow. I'm working on a big video, man. We got to put out another big old banger because I think my theory was correct about RDJ, and I need to like explain that. It's going to take me a lot to like explain the whole deal. So I'm thinking like a 25, 30-minute video that really breaks all of that down in a way that because I wanted to get out there to people and whatnot. And then I'm cooking a lot of other ideas as well. So yeah, really appreciate you guys. Thank you. What would you do if Marvel bait and switches with a female variant of Doctor Doom after Secret Wars? Because RDJ is too old? I don't know what I would do. I mean, I can't imagine I would have a very positive reaction, man. You know, like I'm going in a sort of I'm just trying to, as peacefully as I can, sort of signal to everybody that I'm just not about it, and it's really bugging me. It's starting to bug me. So, yeah, that's probably what I would do there. Do you play chess? No. Gaming stream tonight? No streams tonight, man. I want to go hang with the family for a while, and I want to play some Ark Raiders. It's Ark Raiders time, baby. Josh, I super chatted earlier, but I'll send it to the Discord unless you want to talk about it now. Yeah, you can hit me up. I mean, did I miss it? I can go over it. Let me see here. Josh, can you talk about what's going on to make this Doom go insane? What's the difference about this Doom from other Dooms? Okay. Yes. So that's a good question, man. So it's basically the case that he is the most evil Doom. And the way he is breaking other Dooms is like, it's hard to explain. You have to understand the psychology of a Doom. Like, Doctor Doom would never bend to like, and Doctor Doom would never serve anybody. Like, there's no Doom that would do that. Except they all did. Because this guy found them, took them into this castle, nailed them to the cross, and literally just told them his story. And his story is their story, except he goes way further than even Dooms could conceive. So, like, it's not that, I guess I understand the question, but it's more like this. Instead of thinking like, oh, what could cause these Dooms to go insane? Think of it more in terms of like, This Doom is so crazy that he's causing Dr. Dooms to go insane. That's the idea, right? Yeah. Good question, though. Definitely a good question. Thanks, man. Yep, I'll have a good time. Yep. Appreciate you guys. All right, everybody. Much love to you all today. Appreciate you for being here. Thank you. And again, thank you for all the swag and all the cool stuff. You guys are awesome. As I always say, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next video. Wait, I fucked it up. I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video. I fucked it up. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, another happy landing. Thank you guys. Much love today. Much love, man. I thought it was a good one, you know? Kind of got it distracted. It kind of yapped a little bit, but it is what it is. A lot of crazy shit going on, man. I'm trying to cook a lot of content, but the news just doesn't stop. So it's wild, but we're doing the best we can. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for the love. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to play some Ark Raiders. Well, first I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to play some Ark Raiders. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do me a favor, though. Actually, make it two. Open up your third eye and watch out. You stinky, stinky butt.